Okay, so we ended with this, identifying the standard form of an ellipse with center at 0, 0. Okay, so the next thing to do is to graph this. So for us to graph this, of course, let's identify first the center. Since the center is at 0, 0, there is our center. There, the origin is our center. Okay, now for us to identify if it is a vertical or horizontal ellipse, all we need to do is to do the process. The first thing to do is to find the value of A and B. As you can see in the formula, we have here the A. A is the number below x squared, and B is the number below y squared. The value of A and B are the next things that we need to identify. Okay, let's now have this. So to find A and B, this is our first step. Second step, find A and B. Let me make it bigger. Okay. There you go. So all we have to do is to get the A squared and the B squared. A squared is, just like what I told you, that's the number below the x squared. And that is 9. The number below x squared is 9 here. So we have here 9. Okay. And for our B squared, that is the number below our y squared, and that is 36. We have here 36. Okay. We are only looking for A and B. So therefore, for us to get them, we have squared here. All we need to do is to get the square root of both sides. Square root, square root. So this will become A is equal to the square root of 9 is 3. And for B, the square root of 36 is 6. So we now have A and B. Now take note of this condition. There are some things that you need to consider regarding the value of your A and B. If A is greater than B, it's a horizontal ellipse. Ibig sabihin, nakapahiga yung inyong ellipse. But if A is less than B, meaning B is greater than A, then it's a vertical ellipse. Looking at the value of your A and B and having this table as your consideration, what do you think is the kind of ellipse that we are forming in this example? Kindly type your answer in the chat box. Go. What type of ellipse are we forming in this type of given? Type your answer in the chat box. I want more answers from you. Only 4 answered. What type of ellipse are we forming? Very good. That's correct. We are making a vertical ellipse simply because B is greater than A. So therefore, we will be having a vertical ellipse. Okay? So therefore, let's now move on. The next step is to determine the coordinates. In here, we have a formula, but in what I will be showing you now, I'll just be teaching you a faster way on how to do this. Ready? Okay, let's now go back to our graph. Okay, everybody listen. As long as you have the center and you know the values of A and B, you are not lost in this process. Everybody listen, listen, listen. So we have here A, A, A. A is always with X. So therefore, it is the movement of it from our center is along the X axis. Okay? So therefore, we will move 3 times to the left of the center and 3 times to the right of our center. So we have here 1, 2, 3. There. And then here is our center, 3. 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. There you go. So that is, those are the endpoints of our co-vertices kasi that's the shorter path. Let's now move on with our B. So we have here from the origin 6 units up simply because B is below Y. So therefore galing siya sa Y. And so sa Y-axis tayo magmo-move ng steps natin. Okay? So from the center, let's move up 6 times. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is the first point. Similarly to the below of the center, 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make it clearer. There you go. I hope you can somehow imagine our ellipse. So actually, as early as now, we can already draw our ellipse. So when we draw it, always remember, it's a curve, huh? Some learners do diamond. It's not a diamond, huh? Don't make a diamond in this figure. We are making here an ellipse. So therefore, gently move your pen, connecting the different points. The vertex, the co-vertex, and then the vertex. Sorry for the not so straight movement or not so beautiful drawing, but this is the illustration of our ellipse. The next thing to do is to identify the coordinates. The next thing to do is to identify the coordinates. Okay? So actually, by simply adding 3 to the right from our origin and then minus 3, automatic na yon. But if you want, you can simply count kasi madali lang naman tayo magbilang. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 0. And then to the other side, negative 1, 2, 3, 0. And for our vertex, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0 in the x, negative 6 below. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0 in the x, and then 6 in the y. Okay? So those are our vertices and the co-vertices. Okay? Are we done? Do we have the complete parts already? Show a thumbs up or a thumbs down in our reactions bar. Are we done with our graphing? Yes or no? Check. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, some said okay na, but many of us are still showing thumbs down. Correct, we are not yet done. What do you think? What do you think is the missing part of this ellipse pa? Okay. Okay, ay mali. Oo, mali. Kulang pa. May kulang pa tayo. And that is the foci. We need to identify the foci pa. Okay? So now, to identify the foci, this is just very simple. We have our formula to use. Okay? So to identify the foci, we have the foci here. Where are you, foci? Here, finding the value of the foci. Ready? So for our foci, we have this notations that we need to consider. If A is greater than B, we will be using the formula C squared is equal to, C is equal to the positive negative square root of A squared minus B squared if A is greater than B. Take note of that. If A is greater than B, lagi nauuna si A kasi mas mataas siya. Okay? But if A is less than B, meaning B is greater, then B squared will be the first to be listed in our formula. Okay, now given our equation, or yeah, given the reality of our graph, it's a vertical ellipse. Therefore, all we need to use is the second formula for A is less than B. So we have here, this formula will be used. C is equal to positive negative the square root of B squared minus A squared. Why do we need to write first the bigger number? Simply because if you write the smaller number first, this is inside the square root symbol. If it becomes negative, your answer will be imaginary. Remember that. So always write the bigger value. Okay? So we now have here C is equal to positive negative square root of B squared is 36 here. Ayun, 36 natin. 36 minus A squared is 9. And what do you think is the value of C now? Positive, negative what? Type your answer in the chat box, please. What is the value of our C from this given? Type the answer in the chat box. Let me see. 3. There's a question mark. 1. 5. Let's see the rest. Square root of 27. Okay. OMG, what's happening to these learners? Simple subtraction, what's happening to us? Okay, so let's now continue. Let me help you. Children, 36 minus 9, what's the answer? Type it in the chat box. 36 minus 9, it's not 27. Oh, are you sure it's 27? Yes, it's 27. Correct. 27. Okay. Now, oops, is it 25? Is it 25? Oh, let's do simple math. I have here 6 to make it 30. I will remove 6 here. So what's left here is 3. And then this becomes 30. 30 minus 3, that's 27. 27. Okay. That's a simple children's math. Okay, we have the square root of 27. Now, kindly get your calculator and kindly press square root of 27. What is the decimal value of square root of 27? Type it in the chat box, please. Type it in the chat box. At least 1 decimal point. That's okay. Okay, that's correct. So we have C is equal to positive negative 5 point. Is it 0.1 or 0.2? Round it off. Round it off. Okay, it's 5.2. Okay, now that we know our foci, the C is 5.2, it's positive, negative, we know what to do. We will go back now to our graph. There. Okay. So we have 5.2 for C. From our center, we count again up and down 5.2. It should be up and down kasi it should be in the major axis. I will explain later. I will show you later why. It should be in the major axis. 5.2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.2. There's 5.2. And then from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.2. There. Lampas lang kayo ng konti after 5. There. And that is our foci. Those are our 2 foci. This is 0 in x and then positive 5.2. And then the other foci's coordinates will be 0 in x, no movement in x, and then negative 5.2 below. And that's it. That is now our, what do you call this? That's now our graph for the foci. Show a reaction, please, based on how you understood this process. As simple as that. That's it. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. Meron ng inaantok. Nabobore na yata yun. Okay. Let's see. Let's have the next one. So if you don't have any, do you have a question, by the way? Kindly type type your question in the chat box so that we can attend to your questions. Do you have other questions? Graphing, graphing. We know this already. Okay, that's our next point, next stop. Other questions? Okay. If you will rate that process based on how you understood it, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like when you are graded in your performance task. 3 is the standard, 4 is more than expected, 2 and 1. Let's change the scale into 3. I understand it clearly. Kasi that's what's expected of you. I understand it clearly. It will become 4 if super duper easy and so easy to follow. That's 4. It will become 2 if it's a little confusing. 1 if you're lost in the process. Kindly type your rate 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat box. I want to see your expression regarding this. Okay, good. Good. So confident. Okay, we have here a battle between 3 and 4. Very good. It's nice to know that you are understanding the process clearly. Okay, that's good. Keep it up. Let's now move on with our next step. Actually, it's just the same. If in this example, we have our center at the origin, in our next example naman, our center will not be anymore at the origin, but it's any point in our Cartesian plane. Okay, and this is the formula that we will be using. Okay, so since we already have here our H and K, which are the other points for the center of our ellipse, then that's what's added in our formula. Because if you will remember, if the center is at 0, 0, it's as simple as x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. In this case, it's just the same, it's just the same, just that since dito kasi 0, 0 yung ating origin, so automatically it's x squared and y squared. But since in our next example, we will not be having any more 0, 0 as our center. So we just have to add minus h here, squared, minus k here, squared. And that becomes the standard equation for an ellipse whose center is not at the origin. Okay, and actually, this is also easy. It's just the same as a while ago. Let's continue. Let's have this example. Are you ready? Show a reaction, please, if you're ready to learn this next process. Okay, great. Very good. Let's now move on with our process. For example, we have here like this. So if we have, let me erase this. 4 times the quantity of x plus 2 squared plus 25 times the quantity of y minus 3 and of quantity squared is equal to 100. Okay, let's have this as an example. So we have 4 times the quantity of x plus 2 and of quantity squared plus 25 times the quantity of y minus 3 and of quantity squared is equal to 100. Again, and again. Our goal here is to make our constant at the other side of the equation 1. But in our given, it's 100. What do you think should we do to make it 1? Type the answer in the chat box, please. What should we do to make 100 equal to 1? Okay, thank you, Isaiah. Divide 100 by 100. Exactly, divide all terms, both sides of the equations, by 100. That's correct. So therefore, let me now divide 100 here, 100 here, and then 100 here. Okay, so we now have, let's simplify. 100 divided by 4 is 25. And then 100 divided by 25 is 4. And then 100 divided by 100, it's 1. So to simplify the equation, we will have here x plus 2 end of quantity squared over 25 plus y minus 3 end of quantity squared over 4 is equal to 1. Now, we have the standard equation of an ellipse with center at HK. Sige nga, let me see. Given this equation, of course, our H and K, we will be getting our center from this. What do you think is the center of this equation? Type the answer in the chat box. What's the center of this ellipse? Type it in the chat box. What is the center? Remember, the center, the HK, is different from AB. The AB will determine the distance from the center of the vertices and the co-vertices, but the center is the one in the middle. Sige nga. What is? Okay, there's a battle of signs in the answers of our classmates. Okay, let's see who is the correct one. So let's identify our center. So for our center, always remember your pattern should be x minus h, y minus k. That should be your pattern. And if the sign changed to positive, it simply means that the sign of your H or K is negative. But if it remains negative, therefore, the sign of your H or K is positive. Now, given that clue, I will give you another chance to type your answer in the chat box. What do you think is the correct center? Having this format, it should always be x minus h. If that's the case, your H or K is positive. But if it turns positive plus, therefore, there's a contradiction in the signs, the value of your H or K is then a negative. Type your answer in the chat box. I will give you another chance to correct your answer if ever you got it wrongly. Okay, now I am having a clearer answer, a clearer common answer from you, dear 11STEM1. Okay, and your answers are now correct. Since, look at this. Let me just remove this. Ay, sorry. Oh, where is it? It's removed. I will rewrite it again. Sorry, I erased it. I didn't mean to erase the whole thing. Let me just write it again. So we have here x plus 2 end of quantity squared over 25. And then y minus 3 end of quantity squared over 4. Okay. So we have here the center. This is plus 2. It should be minus. Since it became plus 2, it's a negative. So that's negative 2. Okay. And then in here, this is y minus k. It's y minus 3. Therefore, there's no conflict in the sign, so that's positive. Okay, so that is our center. Show a thumbs up or any reaction if that process is clear to you. Very good. Okay, let's now start doing our graph. Okay. Let me just draw a line here. $90. It's negative 2, 3. Okay. So we have here our Cartesian plane. So we have negative 2, 3. Let's now plot our center. Negative 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There is our center. And that is negative 2, 3. Okay? That's it. The next thing to do now is to identify our A and B. And that's actually very simple. So we know the process. Find A and B. Find A and B. So we have here A squared and B squared. Let me change the colors. We have here A squared and B squared. Okay, for the A squared, always remember it's A squared is always the number below our x minus h squared, and that is 25. And then for our B, that's always the number below our y minus k squared, and that is 4. Getting the square root, square root, square root, square root, we will have A is equal to, o sige nga, type in your chat box, what are the values of your A and B? Type them respectively. What is A and what is B? Type your answer in the chat box. Let's see. Okay, keep the answers coming. A is, you have the same answer. A is 5 and B is 2. And that's correct. Good. So we have here 5. 5 and B is 2. Oy, someone got 6 for A. The square root of 25 is 5 ko pala. Okay, corrected immediately. Very good. That is 5. Okay, that's it. So, which is greater, A or B? What type of ellipse is this? Horizontal or vertical? Type the answer in the chat box. Okay, let's see. What type of ellipse is this? Horizontal. Very good. Simply because A is greater than B. So we know the process. A, from our center, we count 5 steps to the left and to the right because that's for A. And then for B, we count 2 steps up and down. I hope while I'm doing this, you also do it in your graphing paper. Okay? Let's now count. Let's now count 5 steps to the left and to the right. We have 1, 2. Let me just make it bigger so that we can all imagine the movement. There. So from here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, let's use this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our vertex. And then also 5 steps to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is our other vertex. Okay? And now let's move on with our co-vertices. 2 steps up and down, 1, 2. And then 2 steps down, 1, 2. There you go. And so when we draw this, gently draw it, passing through your vertices and co-vertices. Oops. Okay, that's it. Assuming it's a beautifully drawn ellipse. And are we done, by the way? Are we done? Yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Show the answer to your reactions. Are we done? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Not yet, because we need to find still our foci. And our foci, even without us identifying the real formula or the actual formula, all we have to do is to do the process by, to find C, all we need to do is to get the positive negative square root of the bigger squared minus the smaller squared. In this case, which is bigger, A squared or B squared? Type it in the chat box, please. Which is bigger, A squared or B squared? A squared, correct. So we have here 25. Always remember, always write the bigger number first. 25 minus 4. And 25 minus 4 is what? That is square root of 21, positive negative square root of 21. And the square root of 21 is, what is it? What is the value? There should be 2 values always, positive and a negative. Is it only positive 4.6? Is it only positive 4.6? It's positive negative 4.6. Very good. That's positive negative 4.6. That's our foci. Okay. And going back to our graph, 4.6. Let's count 4.6 here. So we have from our center, 4.6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4.6, somewhere right here, lampas ng kalahati. That's our foci. And then in here, 1, 2, 3, 4.6, right over there. That is our foci. And actually, we are sometimes drawing pa. There is a latus rectum here. But we never write it anymore here. Okay. Okay, did you get the process in drawing or graphing our ellipse? Having our center at the origin or at HK. Show a reaction, please. Very good. Here. Here. Very good. Wow, mayabang. Good. That's good. Okay. Let me see. What else do we need to learn here? HK, that's, I forgot. Yeah. Never forget to type or to write our coordinates. Yes. So we have here, just actually you can follow the process, or you can follow the formulas in your module, or if you already have drawn it, you can just simply count or identify the coordinates by using or identifying their positions in the Cartesian plane. So for example, in here we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's 3, 3. Always remember, wag magpapalito, mauuna kayo sa X, ha? Oh, let's try this. Sige nga. This other vertex, what is the coordinates of our other vertex? Type it in the chat box, please. What is the other vertex? Coordinates of the vertex in this graph. Sige nga. Okay, only 2 answered. Okay, they are coming now. Very good. Oops, someone. Okay. Some of us are having problems with counting. Okay, makinig. Everybody listen. Some of us mistakenly count this origin automatically. part of our counting. No. 0 is always your starting point. And it's not yet 1 here in the origin. Hindi pa 1 yun. 1 pa lang yung magsisimula kapag nag-move ka na. 0. 1. Ay, sobrang laki naman. Sorry. Let's throw this. Ayun, ready. Hindi pa to kasama sa bilang, ha? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 steps. Ang laki namang sulat nun. Let's just do this. Let's count again. From the origin. Origin is not yet part of the counting. It's still 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that is 7. And since it's going to the left, that's negative 7. And then going up from here, 1, 2, 3, that is 3. Got it? Naduling lang po, sir. Okay. It's negative 7, 3. Okay. Good. Naduling lang. Okay. This time, this is negative 7, 3. This time, identify the point of, or the coordinates of this point. This one, this one, this one, this one. This point, I will mark it A. Game. What are the coordinates of point A in this figure? Type the answer in the chat box, please. Always remember, una sa X, una sa X. Some of us, inuuna si Y. Una si X, remember. Oops, meron talaga nalilito na uuna si Y. X should always be the first to consider. Okay. So una si X, we have here 1, 2, that's negative 2. It's color blue. Negative 2. And then after that, dun pa lang kayo tataas or bababa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Got it? Show a thumbs up if or any reaction if you got that correctly. Very good. This time, now that we got the coordinates of A, let's now identify the coordinates of B. Let this be our point B. What's the coordinate of this co-vertex? Type the answer in the chat box, please. Okay, good. I am expecting everyone to participate, ha? Kasi when you participate, when you practice, when you try and think, you become better in the process. Okay, that's correct. That's negative.